Last time here at Snetterton, we took a look behind the scenes. This time, it's time to get back to the racing. Welcome to the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy. When the Elise Trophy first began, a vast majority of drivers would actually drive their cars to the circuit, race them and then drive them home. Well, this year we've still got a handful of drivers that are doing that, and I'm joined now by Stuart Kirkbride. Stuart, you still drive to the circuit, race and drive home, don't you?
That's right, yeah. I drive to 99% of the races I go to, and probably drive back on about 90%. So a few times I had to sort of borrow a trailer and get the car back by other means, but yeah, usually I drive to and drive back from home as well.
In the 1% where you don't drive to the circuit, what determines that?
With anyone I actually got to go to take my car for me. It was Spa last year, so rather than drive all the way to Belgium in a noisy, rattly, hard-sprung car, I decided to get a garage to take it for me and take a comfortable car to Spa. It does attract sort of quite a bit of attention, and sometimes the wrong type really, and it can be a bit tiresome, I suppose.
Phil, I understand you still drive your car to the circuit, race, drive home, and you also use this as your main road car.
That's right, yeah, it gets driven every day. Did about 9,000 miles in it last year. I look a bit of a Burke driving into the work car park in it, but yeah, my wife takes the other car and that's the only one I've got, so yeah.
How do you find having the race car as a road car?
Harsh. It's got quite stiff suspension. I soften it up a bit, but it's still, it's really quite harsh, especially over the potholes over the winter. It shakes your bones about.
And it's rather noisy as well.
Well, I've got although it's pretty noisy, I've got it as quiet as it can go, and still have the performance, so it's not too bad.
Hans, if we could just trouble you for a second, I understand you still drive to the track each time.
Hi Gemma, yes, I drive to and from all UK races.
Fantastic. Well, how do you
That's the new iPhone. People keep phoning me on.
Who's ringing you now, Matt? Hans, if we could just trouble you, I understand you still drive to the circuit each race.
Hi Gemma, yes, I drive to and from all the UK races.
How do you find driving to the circuit each time and then obviously having the car to race? Does it affect your racing at all?
I do take it slightly more cautiously, yeah, because I want to drive my car home, obviously, rather than call the AA or borrow a trailer from someone.
I'm sorry, I can't let this happen. Hans, did you drive the car to this race?
Yes, I did drive the car to this race.
Is there some confusion?
A trailer.
A trailer?
I'm not making accusations, but I'm pretty sure we saw this car on a trailer, and I think Emma will back that up, won't you?
Do you know what, James? There's lots of trailers here. You could be getting mistaken. I know you deal in very large numbers, being a fat banker, but the number of trailers here is.
Your mendacity is shocking,
really?
Right? And you're a disgrace to the series. So that's all I'm saying.
Up and down the
A14,
A14,
I'm not saying any more.
And it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
So, Hans, do you or don't you drive to the circuit?
I do drive to all circuits.
We'll let you decide for yourselves. This is the Woody Memorial Race in memory of Lotus enthusiast and great supporter Simon Woodward. It's a reverse top 10 grid, so the question is, can Marcus Jewell make it through to take another blinding win?
Following a very social evening in the campsite, we're about ready to get underway with the second race of the weekend for the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy. On pole position we have Donald Cannard, and alongside him Stuart Rowland. The reverse of the top 10 means that yesterday's winner Marcus Jewell is all the way back there in 9th place on the grid. Will Price lines up in 11th with Simon Deacon alongside him. David Skeggs well up this weekend. We can expect to see him going well. A little bit further down the order, Hans Baumhart always features strongly, and Dave Carr's been going better and better as the year's gone on. An enormous field means that we've got the likes of Neil Stoddart and Andrew Napier, who are often quicker than that towards the rear of the field, with Paul McNeely and Ben Hyland rounding out the grid. A 20-minute race in prospect as we go in car with Michael Evans. The red lights go on. They go out, away we go. Poor start from Donald Cannard, a good start from Ken Savage in the yellow number 5 car as we charge up towards Richards for the first time. Everybody fans out along the very narrow start and finish straight here at Snetterton. So Edwards in 3rd place. It's going to be Ken Savage who swoops across in front of Stuart Rowland as they go into Richards for the first time. so it's Savage in the lead. Everybody in the front of the field, say through, none of the rear. Off goes Rob Myers, off goes Nigel. There's Peter Driver as well, Adrian Beer. And is that Hans Baumhart who has gone rally crossing? It is. So his aspirations to drive away from the circuit may not be fulfilled, as heading down the Revit straight for the first time, we've got Ken Savage in the lead. He's got Stuart Rowland right in his tail, as Michael Edwards is slotting past Stuart Rowland. We go back in car with James Knight now, as he moves alongside Donald Cannard. Well, it's sunny, so it's not the right weather for ducks, so Cannard loses a position as Knight homes in on Simon Phillips. But it's still Savage who's got the lead from Michael Edwards, who finished third yesterday. He's second at the moment as he chases Savage through the S's. Then we've got Stuart Rowland, Ben Pitch just behind in fourth position into the bomb hole, the cambered right-hander for the first time, Simon Phillips. And then that's Donald Cannard just a little bit wide, and even wider there from David Skeggs, who explores the grass. He just about rejoins as Savage streams through Coram Curve for the first time. Cannard in the rear of the shot, loses it as very tight into thrust chicane from Ken Savage. That could give Michael Edwards, Stuart Rowland, Ben Pitch and Simon Phillips a good run on him as they come up the centre straight and complete lap one. So Savage goes through at the head of the field. Also well up is James Knight and Marcus Jewell in the mix too. In car with Michael Edwards into Rich. Second time as it goes wrong for Savage. Ken Savage slides out wide, so Michael Edwards inherits the lead. Ken Savage, the car twitching and bucking, and unfortunately he is slipping right the way down the order. So well, Savage savaged himself. Now this is in car with Hans Baumhart, a replay of the first corner. So Baumhart going to the slightly optimistic outside line into Rich's. It all kicks on in front of him, and hello grass as the rear of Hans Baumhart's car overtakes the front. He discovers the Lotus Elise was not built for rallying and tries to find his way back onto the circuit. Back at the head of the field, Michael Edwards has got a good advantage now over Ben Pitch, who slides the inside of Stuart Rowland. So Stuart Rowland, well, the reverse grid putting him a little bit further up the order perhaps we'd usually expect to see, still carrying the novice cross on the rear of his car, so he's in some fairly exalted company as Simon Phillips is next man through. Phillips at the moment's got it in stereo because he's chasing down Rowland, and he has got James Knight right on his tail. Further back, Vital Jehoon being pushed wide as this is the naughty corner, because there's Nigel Ayres who went earlier on, Hans Baumhart and Adrian Beer, Donald Cannard. So the spinners recovering their way up through the field. Back to the front, Michael Edwards trying to make good his escape with Ben Pitch hot in pursuit. Stuart Rowland still doing a good job there in third place, with Simon Phillips coming under considerable pressure now from James Knight, and Marcus Jewell coming along for the ride as well. As Knight looks to the outside of Phillips as the run towards Rich's, he then jinks along to the inside. Marcus Jewell trying to shallow box the manoeuvre as well, as Edwards safely negotiates Rich's. We go back in car with Hans Baumhart as he moves the inside of Adrian Beer. He goes past Adrian Beer. He looks to go to the inside of Donald Cannard, who makes these for him as Cannard slides wide again, maybe looking for a puddle to paddle in. So Donald Cannard demoted even further. Hans Baumhart gaining some places as we go three abreast down the Revit straight. It's Marcus Jewell to the inside, James Knight in the middle, and Simon Phillips the outside. In car with James Knight. Hello Marcus Jewell, hello Simon Phillips, and has Jewell get in position? Well, no, because Simon Phillips just gives him a slight tap, but Phillips loses out eventually as they sprint towards the bomb hole. Knight looks to the inside of Simon Phillips, no way through there, and he has also got Simon Deacon right on his tail as well. So in car with James Knight, the pink punter, possibly in reference to the fact that James's race at Silverstone ended somewhat ignominiously with Gavin Kirby earlier in the season. There's Greg Noble being challenged by Gary Broad. Also well up in the mix there is the number 41 car of Stuart Kirkbride, who's coming up very well from a little bit lower down on the grid. Again, Stuart Kirkbride, another of those drivers who drives the car to the circuit, so maybe taking full advantage of the straight A11 on the straights of Snetterton this weekend. Well, Ben Pitch at the head of the field really for the first time in 2010, and for the moment going very nicely indeed. It's Stuart Rowland who is under pressure from Marcus Jewell, who is busy defending from Simon Phillips. James Knight's got the best view of it all as they go through Sear and onto the Revit straight, with them taking a liberal dose of curb. As further back, we're in car with Hans Baumhart, Vital Jehoon and Rob Myers go door handle to door handle. Jehoon has the advantage over Rob Myers. Hans Baumhart follows him through, so another place gained for Hans Baumhart in his recovery drive up through the field. Well, Marcus Jewell in the flying orange, the bright number 70 car. He's got the white car of Simon Deacon just behind him. We've then got a very good battle going on here. That is Simon Deacon in the black car. Simon Phillips in pursuit of Marcus Jewell. It's Simon Deacon chasing down James Knight as they make their way into Coram Curve. The right-hander absolutely flat out Rob Myers and Andrew Napier tussling a little bit lower down the order. It's still Rob Myers who's just got the advantage, and then Dave Carr holding up Donald Cannard and Adrian Beer. He's not really holding them up because Cannard and Beer are fighting amongst themselves as they go into the bomb hole, and Adrian Beer gains position. Nigel Ayres still in that group as he seeks to recover from his earlier indiscretion. Simon Phillips right on the tail of Marcus Jewell once more. Stuart Rowland doing a very fine job still in third position. Rowland's hugging the pit wall. He then moves to the outside to take the conventional swooping line into Riches. Marcus Jewell not quite close enough to capitalise just yet, and Simon Phillips content to sit in pursuit. Simon Deacon just dropping back actually from James Knight as the leaders make their way through Sierra out onto the Revitt Straight, although Marcus Jewell almost makes his way out into the turning field, running very wide through Sear. That may compromise his speed as we go onto the straight. In fact, he carries more speed through. He gets right into the situation of Stuart Rowland as Marcus Jewell moves to the inside of Rowland as they go under the Snetterton Bridge into the Essex. Marcus Jewell gains the place. He moves up into third position. So Marcus Jewell, yesterday's race winner, the consumer of several Jägermeisters last night. Well, it hasn't affected him thus far this afternoon because he's absolutely flying, recovering up from that 9th place on the grid. Simon Deacon right on the tail of James Knight as well. So this leading group charging through Coram Curve. You can just see how quick these cars are going as through goes Simon Phillips up the inside of Stuart Rowland. A great move there from Phillips. As you don't really overtake through Coram unless you're feeling very, very brave. Clearly Simon Phillips was feeling just that, so he holds the position going through the Russell chicane. Stuart Rowland now beginning to drop back slightly as he has got James Knight right on his tail. We go in car with James Knight now. Rowland hugging Phil. We've got his high-five his team crew there as he still holds the inside line as they go towards Riches. Now he swoops across. A bit of a late manoeuvre, so James Knight says, fair enough, I'll take the hole up the inside, which is exactly what he does. So James Knight gains position, Rowland runs wide, so Simon Deacon leaps through as well. So Stuart Rowland now shuffled to the rear of that leading group as Michael Edwards has now got Ben Pitch right in his tail, Marcus Jewell, and then Simon Phillips as we watch Marcus Jewell in the beautiful S2 make his way down the Revitt Straight. Peter Driver to the inside of Adam Busey, and Busey demoted a position. Adam Busey in the sky blue and orange Golf Tribute livery. He's got Greg Noble in the Union Jack car right on his tail. As Marcus Jewell goes to the inside of Ben Pitch, an audacious move from Jewell. Will he make it stick? He's going to run a little bit wide. Ben Pitch taking the conventional racing line, but Jewell's got the inside line. He kisses the curb. Does he run wide? No, he doesn't. So Ben Pitch then charges to the inside of the bomb hole. Marcus Jewell may be caught napping because that really was an overtake opportunity, but Ben Pitch saw the gap. Through he goes. So Ben Pitch temporarily demoted to third position, all of which is somewhat enabling Michael Edwards to make good his escape. So as Edwards turns into the Russell chicane now, we wait to see if Ben Pitch has still got the edge of Marcus Jewell. The answer is yes, he does. Simon Phillips, as a result, is being able to join into that train. And really one lap of this race is providing more excitement for the entire England World Cup campaign thus far, as we have got Marcus Jewell now right on the tail of Ben Pitch again as we go on towards Riches. Jewell looks to the outside of Pitch. Pitch lights the blaze, somewhat unnecessarily really in the June sunshine, to the inside. No way through around the outside to Marcus Jewell as they move on towards Sear. Again, Pitch covering the inside line as Edwards heads on through it straight. So Ben Pitch, he's driving very defensively. It's enabling Edwards to pull away ahead of the field, but at the same time he is keeping Marcus Jewell at bay. This is a very, very considered drive here really from Ben Pitch. Again, he's already covering the inside line as they go towards the S. He's not even halfway down the Revitt Straight as Ben Pitch to the very inside, Marcus Jewell to the outside. They turn into the S's, no way through there for Jewell. Simon Phillips on his tail. Simon Deacon in the back of our picture moves to the inside of James Knight as Marcus Jewell into the bomb hole. This is where he was caught napping a few moments ago by Ben Pitch. This time no such challenge for him as this train of cars fighting for second position. It really is like the world's longest Lotus Elise because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them running pretty much bumper to bumper as they all concertina up into the Russell chicane past the enormous crowd here at Snetterton, enjoying this classic Team Lotus Fest and this Lotus on Track Elise Trophy race, really proving to be the highlight of the day as we have got Jewell and Phillips fighting along the centre straight, as also Simon Deacon well and mixed. Stuart Rowland dropping back a little bit. There is Paul McNeely right on tail of Vital Chahoun. Rob Mars trying to cover his way through the field. Dave Carr as well. But it's Adam Busey from Peter Driver, then Greg Noble. Vital Chahoun having a good season with Paul McNeely right in the mix as well. Now Peter Driver coming pressure here from Greg Noble. Noble in the very patriotic Lotus Elise, moving to the outside of the red machine of Peter Driver. Now what can Driver do in terms of defence as they dash along the centre straight past the pit boards? Wonderful shot at ground level as the cars head up towards Riches. Onto the Revit straight once more, have a go. The race leaders, in particular, battle for second position. Again, Marcus Jewell trying to pick his way through. As, oh no, Stuart Kirkbride, well, he drove the car to the circuit. Will he drive it back onto the circuit? A spin at Riches. Yep. Have we got to get it? Yes, we do now. Well done, Stuart. Back into the race he goes, although some way down the order. Back to the leading group we go as they make it into the Russell chicane once more. Everyone taking a very tight and defensive line. It really is a bit like taking an exam on a treadmill for these drivers, because they're thinking tactically the whole time whilst also getting somewhat warm in the cockpit of these Lotus Elises. Of course, all the drivers in the Lotus Track Elise Trophy, world-class athletes, so the physical demands won't be anything to them as Ben Pitch turns into Riches, but too late as it goes wrong for Phillips, but Marcus Jewell goes up in second position. Ben Pitch motor for third. Simon Phillips really removes himself from the battle. The pressure finally telling as they all make their way safely through Sear, just about scrabbling through. Well, there is Steve Quick finding a reverse gear to be a bit more rapid than he'd rather hoped for. He finds the right direction again as he's about to rejoin the circuit. So Quick going forwards and Quick going backwards there, but he rejoins the race with no harm done, just the loss of 5 or so positions. Michael Edwards still in the lead of the race as Simon Phillips on the tail of James Knight, and he's being ganged up on by the Simons because Simon Deacon to the outside, and it's going to be a case, as Simon says, crash as they drive into each other. Simon Deacon and Simon Phillips collide, and well, Simon Phillips has now got most of Simon Deacon's paint along the side of what was previously a bright white and green machine. So Simon Deacon, unfortunately, I think he may be going no further. It looks like he did sustain some damage. So we now have a three-way fight for that second position, as it's Marcus Jewell. Yes, across the grass goes Simon Deacon. James Knight now right on the tail of Ben Pitch. The Elisa pitch for sale, and well, does that make it a sales pitch today, because he's flying at the head of the field as he looks to the inside of Marcus Jewell. James Knight looked to the outside, so they all fan out into Riches, and Ben Pitch, he may have taken that line a little bit too tight, because James Knight carries the speed through as they head on towards Sear. This is Knight's opportunity to be going car, but he may be held up by Marcus Jewell. Pitch running very wide. Jewell takes the conventional racing line, so does James Knight. James Knight, as far as we can tell, goes up to third. No, he doesn't, because there's Ben Pitch entering stage left as they have a drag race down the Revit straight. Now James Knight, if he sits in the slipstream here behind Marcus Jewell, that may be just enough for him as we head down to the S's. We go 3 abreast. Unbelievable driving, and it's going to be Jewell from Knight, then Ben Pitch, and James Knight goes the inside of Marcus Jewell, and he goes through. James Knight goes up into second position. Ben Pitch goes into third by a bumper for the moment into the bomb hole over the debris as Jewell swoops around the outside. Further back, what do we have? We have a spin from Adam Busey on the inside of the circuit. We have a spin from Neil Stottert on the outside. Stottert recovers, so does Busey. Well, synchronised spinning in the midfield as we have got James Knight in second place with Marcus Jewell on his tail. Ben Pitch now just beginning to drop a little bit further back. The race beginning to reach its concluding stages, and Michael Edwards may have just done enough to build a big enough gap ahead of the field. Now what can James Knight and Marcus Jewell do about closing down that gap? We've then got a big gap now back behind James Knight, sliding it through to Marcus Jewell, then Ben Pitch, then Stuart Rowland still there. Now this is a good battle between Stu Malt and Paul Baker. It's Baker to the outside, Stu Malt in the silver machine to the inside. Around the outside goes Paul Baker, too far around the outside, he takes to the grass. A wild ride there for Paul Baker. Well, he does very well to stop the car switching ends. He also does some impromptu lawn mowing for Jonathan Palmer, the owner of Motorsport Vision, so maybe he'll get a little bit of payment in lieu for the grass cutting. Anyway, he rejoins the race at the rear of the field as back at the front this battle for second continues to rage. A few moments ago Ben Pitch had dropped behind Marcus Jewell, now he's riding his tail, and Jewell is homing in on the tail of James Knight. Michael Edwards at the front of the field, he can just enjoy this battle in the ever-growing distance in his rear-view mirror. Well, we've got Steve Quick recovering up through the field, he passes Shahoon, so does Hans Baumhart, so Baumhart goes through as well. Let's hope he doesn't try that on the 11 on the way home as they make their way through Coram Curve. James Knight accelerates along the centre straight and on to another lap Well, we rejoin the adventures of Paul Baker. He's got Peter Driver right behind him. There is Rob Mars, the inside of Vital Chahoun. No way through there for Rob Mars. Chahoun holds on around the outside. So we have got Baker and we've got Driver as... What will Paul Baker do? He clouts the curve at Russell. Around he goes. Paul Baker spins, and he's a bit of a sitting duck there. Well, we avoid him in car with Hans Baumholt. We hit him with Paul McNeely. And oh no, Neil Stottert slams into the side of Paul Baker. And Paul Baker, I think, is going to recover. Neil Stottert looks fairly stuck. So Paul Baker limps into the pit lane with a much reprofiled Lotus Elise. A lot of front bodywork damage, but I don't think he's done too much to the internals. Unfortunately, Neil Stottert is sitting there prone in the middle of the circuit. From the other angle, we see Paul McNeely just slam into Baker, and then Stottert nowhere to go, and it just gives him a tap. If anything, he corrects Baker's line. Now this is a little bit scary because here comes James Knight at full pelt through Corham. We've still got Stottert stationary at the Russell chicane. Into Russell they go now. The wave yellow flags are out as they see Stottert's car in the middle of the circuit. So Knight, Jewell and Pitch go through. They accelerate up to the start line. The red flag goes out. The race is being stopped. Oh no, what a shame, just as it was coming to the boil. So Michael Edwards in the lead with James Knight second, Marcus Jewell in third place, and with well over half race distance completed, the clerk of the course has declared the result, bringing to an early end a thrilling race. So the final classification is that Michael Edwards has taken the win from James Knight in second, Marcus Jewell in third, Ben Pitch, a very well driven fourth, as is Stuart Rowland in fifth place. Well, Michael Edwards on the podium with the champagne, as Marcus Jewell just looking to try and get the cork out, which is done first by James Knight. So Knight douses the race winner Michael Edwards as they have their bubbly fight on the Snetterton podium, much to the delight of a young fan, as well, in the presence of the Lotus Formula 1 team, I think they've got a star of the future there in Michael Edwards.
So Mick, you're famous now.
Yeah, it's great. I didn't know I was going to be famous, but there you go. That really stings when it gets in your eyes, by the way, so be careful if you ever win a race.
Oh, I thought they were tears of emotion having won that by such a huge amount.
No, not at all, not at all. Really enjoyed it. The only danger I was in was from myself once I got ahead, over driving, but it was great race. A really good ending to the weekend. I'm really pleased.
Excellent.
To beat these guys for a look. It's been a while, so.
You're almost speechless.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
Well, you go relax, end of your weekend. Thank you very much. Well done. Marcus, good result for you again?
Yeah, great fun. Good to have a little close race. Yesterday was kind of a bit different, a bit tense when you're leading. But it was a really good battle. Ben Pitch drove a really good race as well, actually, and he was hammering away. But it must have been good to view because it was definitely good to take part in.
It was awesome. There couldn't have been much space between you at points.
No, it was very close. I think I ran into James on the straight a couple of times just to remind him I was there. We were missing gears, the tyres were going off. It's kind of what you want motorsport to be. It was absolutely brilliant.
James, fantastic result. You really ploughed through the field.
Yeah, well, Marcus and I decided to give Mick quite a head start. I think we were a little bit too now. It was fantastic race, very clean with Marcus. Not done too many laps with him before, but I think good understanding. So, yeah, hot stuff in there. But second of the losers twice, but I'll take that. It's been a great weekend.
Fantastic. No love kisses out there today?
Well, a few in the paddock later, maybe. I don't know. You offering?
Maybe not. Thank you very much. Well done.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Clive, for you, this weekend must be quite a momentous occasion.
Yeah, I never thought this would happen. I'm not sure if it's ever going to happen again, but the fact it's happened once, and here with Mum and my family is just fantastic.
It's something I'm sure your dad would have been very proud of.
Yeah, I think if Dad was still around, there'd be a lot more cars there, and you know. But it's just nice to celebrate what he did, and there's a lot of the ex-Team Lotus people here, and this really is their cars. So. I don't know how many laps he's doing. I thought he was coming in after 2, but
it's nice as well. I mean, this is the first time the F1 car's been in the public eye, in a sense, isn't it?
Yeah, and F1 cars don't run at events like this. It's just impossible. So when Lotus Racing said, we think we might be able to run a car, I couldn't believe it. And I thought it would be one lap, tootling. And as you can see, he's not hanging about.
It certainly isn't. I mean, it's fantastic for the fans to be able to get this close to the cars when they're not at a Grand Prix.
Yeah, we really wanted to let people get up close. That's why we invested in the pavilion, and in case it's pouring with rain and what have you, there's some cover and all this kind of stuff. But the weather's okay and everyone's having a great time.
And for Lotus next weekend, it's the 500th Grand Prix. I mean, that must be, again, something that's pretty amazing for you to be part of.
I think for the 127 to be able to spend the weekend with all its forebears is just perfect, isn't it? And we're going to be able to see it loaded into the truck and give it a send-off to Valencia. Fantastic.
Hans!
Hello.
Whose car is this?
This is my car.
So, hang on a minute, if this is your car, how on earth did you manage to get your Lotus here this weekend?
By magic. No, I trailered to Norfolk, but then I drove the car to and from the hotel. So my race car, you asked me, did you drive here today? And the answer is yes, I did. I drove here this morning from the hotel to the race circuit in my race car.
Hans, you're a naughty man. You told a little porky.
Not at all. It's straight up the truth. Just like the English summer.
Very cheeky. Well, go on then, off you go. Not driving your Lotus home tonight, though. Well, there certainly seems to be quite a few champagne puddles down here on the podium, and that concludes a fantastic day's racing for the Elise Trophy. Join us again next time here on EliseTrophy.tv.